Hi, Kia ora listeners. Let's learn sumo. I'm Clayton. Welcome to the podcast. Don't forget to join me on Instagram or X at Let's Learn Sumo. Drop me a comment. You can find the podcast on your normal podcast streaming service, also on YouTube and now YouTube Music if you want to listen to it in the background. You can also join me tomorrow evening, Thursday, day 5, 4 p.m. Tokyo time, on Sunday morning sumo on YouTube for some live commentary with Goose. We'll do 2 hours of the top division Makuchi. Come along and join us. It should be fun. Just giving his other regular partner, JJ, a break. JJ is normally up at about 3 a.m. from Canada, so a full 15 days is quite a big ask at that time of the day. So I'll give JJ a rest and join Goose for a little bit of silly action there. Day 4 has been run, and it's clear that our Yokozuna is firing on all cylinders. Mitakeumi doesn't have a really great record against the Yokozuna. Last beat him to get his last match of his Ozeki run and gain promotion previously. He has since fallen out of Ozeki. However, tonight Mitakeumi was just simply outclassed and outpowered as Terunofuji locked up Mitakeumi's arms and just drove him back to the bails effortlessly for a frontal force-out Yorikiri win. That leaves the Yokozuna as the sole leader on 4 wins, Mitakeumi just with a single win on day 1. The 10 Yusho record is looking a little bit more likely every day if he can stay healthy. I think we'll see that. Just as dominant in what was a one-sided affair, Ozeki Kotozakura, he dispatched Magashira to Wakamoto Haru by getting around his arms and driving him back like the Yokozuna for a fairly easy Yorikiri frontal force-out win. A little bit too easy there. I thought Wakamoto might have gotten a bit more fight going, but he lost that arm position, which was the big decider for him. Best way to describe Hoshoryu's match with Gonayama was probably unfortunate. Gonayama got a really slightly early touchy eye and was just explosively fast at the start. Hoshoryu didn't get a microsecond to recover from the hit, and Gonayama just drove him back over the bails. He did a little dance and a pirouette on the Tawara bails to go out. Look, it was probably a mutter. In all seriousness, but no action from the judges or the Gyoji. Gonayama keeps the win. Hoshoryu looked like he might have picked up a small injury to his elbow in that one too, so that'll be interesting to see how he comes out tomorrow. That would be unfortunate if he did. Hoshoryu and Gonayama, 2 wins apiece there on day 4. Battle hamster Takakeisho, he met up with our chaos agent Tobizaru yet again. 7 and 6 their matchups in Takakeisho's favour. A little bit of a difficult customer for Takakeisho in previous, and Tobizaru does move quite fast. He always presents a problem to Takakeisho, and tonight was no different. It's clear that Takakeisho is not in sparkling form. Tobizaru is the man to take advantage of that. Takakeisho, he started a fair way back from the line to give himself a little bit of room to get that thrusting going, keep maybe Tobizaru off the belt. Tobizaru went hard at the touchy eye and copped a few Nottawa neck thrusts for his trouble. There's a few exchanges as Tobizaru looked for a belt grip as Takakeisho went for a big side head slap. I do kind of enjoy seeing Takakeisho going for a slap, and he does do it better than most, and unashamedly too. Midori Fuji knows all about those slaps and returned the favour last year in the January match. I think it was day 3. Go and check that fight out. January 2023, Takakeisho versus Midori Fuji. I called that one our fight of the year last year. Excitement and action. Maybe not orthodox sumo, but yeah, still a really good match. Anyway, back to the action. Tobizaru, he wore the slap, got himself a frontal belt grip. Takakeisho tried to take advantage by locking up Tobizaru's arm for the Kotonage arm lock throw, but Tobizaru broke that grip and drove Takakeisho off balance. Takakeisho went forward. Tobizaru got hold of him and pushed him forward from behind for an unusual Okurinage rear throw. That rear throw, Okurinage, that can be any type of throw, as long as you're doing it from the rear. It's hard not to think that the end is nigh for the Ozeki, our battle hamster. He now sits on a single win. He's clearly not in sparkling form. He's clearly still got that injured neck. It is not getting any better. Tobizaru, on the other hand, is on 2 wins and, his usual chaos agent self. Meisei redeemed himself from last night's loss to Kodazakura and outsmarted Arby a little bit with a side shifting hit to leave Arby open, and he helped him over the bales with an Akuri Dashi rear push-out. Meisei 2 and 2, Arby in slight trouble at 1 and 3 as well. Hirodumi executed an excellent dirty little hanker on Onosato, just a diagonal shift. His feet didn't need much movement. Onosato takes a loss. Hirodumi on 2. Onosato not having a good start with only that single win. Ura, the acrobat, made a decent job of dealing with the Atami Fuji by getting a hand on his belt from the tachiai. He used it to pull Atami through with a Shitata Dashinage inside belt grip pulling throw. If you get all of that, it's basically when you get the belt from an inside grip and you pull them through, and instead of throwing them over, it's more like almost like the fisherman's net pull through. Atami, he'll be a little bit disappointed with that one, as he had a pretty good balance and strength so far this tournament, but Ura just got up and got in there quickly with that belt and took advantage. 3 wins for Ura now, having a reasonable start to the tournament. 2 for our Atomic Atami Fuji. Kota Shoho versus Shononumi. Shononumi took his first loss because he got another dirty hanker from Kota Shoho, both on 3 and 1. Takanosho got a Fusen win over the injured Onosho, who's out with ankle ligament damage. He needs surgery, and look, they're saying 3 weeks recovery, but I don't think we'll see Onosho back in Makuuchi. I think he would be unusual to see him turn up in September, 2 months for an ankle injury with ligaments and a surgery. Possible. People have recovered quicker, but I'm not so confident there. Oho got a decent armbar at the tachiai on Sadnumi, pulled him down for a Kotanage, 2 apiece in with those 2 guys. Kimbozan, he took a nasty Nodowa neck thrust from Tamawashi for an Oshidashi loss. He's yet to get a win. He's having not a great start to the tournament. Tamawashi is going well with 3 wins as well. Probably the fight of the night, Midori Fuji and Oshoma. Some good strength and a decent technical win for the pocket rocket Midori Fuji. He got in close at the tachiai, and Oshoma gets a slap to the back of his head. Midori Fuji went in for the double upper body grip, inside grip under Oshoma's arms. He got control and tried to turn him over to the left. I tell you what, it wasn't far off. He nearly got it. Oshoma, he resisted and stayed up and recovered. Ended up with a double outside body grip on Midori Fuji, who ended up with one hand on Oshoma's belt and one hand against his ribs as they ended up into a holding position. Oshoma really struggled throughout the match to get himself any sort of good hand position to take any action. And look, for me, from the very first moment, it's clear they haven't met a lot. I think that was probably their first meeting. Oshoma was really deeply concerned about getting Midori's body grip transitioning to a Karasakashi under-shoulder swing down at some point. I'm sure he's watched those videos. I'm sure he knows exactly what Midori Fuji when he gets it in under those armpits. And if I was him, I would have been very worried about it as well. You could see he was changing his body position to ensure that that didn't happen. Midori Fuji, I must say, was much more patient tonight. He ended up trying to pull Oshoma through for the Shitata Dashinage pull-through, as we just discussed. Look, he got enough of a pull on Oshoma to get him off balance and set him up for a Yorikiri frontal force out. It was a pretty good technical win for Midori Fuji. It required a bit of patience and technique and not a little bit of strength for that one. Oshoma took his first loss. He's been impressive in the last 2 tournaments, Oshoma, so I see him going a lot further. Midori Fuji, he's on 2 wins after their first meeting, kind of returning to some of his better sumo. Fairly easy win for Hokuto Fuji on a fairly hapless Nishikigi. Poor old Nishikigi, he just can't take a trick here. It was fairly easy bait after an initial effort and flurry of thrust, but winless so far for Nishikigi. First win for Hokuto Fuji. Ichi Yamamoto has dealt Asanayama a deep and painful blow. Not really his fault. The former Ozeki got driven back by a fairly motivated Ichi Yamamoto off the tachiai. Ichi can really get that initial drive going. And when he does, it works extremely well. Asanayama, he went back under fairly tough pressure, and it appears that he heard something go pop in his left knee, and he went down like the proverbial sack of potatoes. Required the wheelchair and some help from the Yobadashi and Oyakatas to help him from the arena. I hear he has gone off to hospital and has re-injured that left knee. Initial reports are that he already said it is worse than what he felt it last time. If that's the case, I wouldn't expect to see a Sanayama back in Makuuchi, maybe until next year. And if at all, that's a really sad prospect. I've quite enjoyed when Asanayama is healthy, watching him fight. He's a very good technical wrestler. He's very motivated. Injury is the only thing holding him back at this point. Ichi Yamamoto, he picks up his third win. Tsurunomi, he stole the win from Takara Fuji with a nice little nimble sidestep as Takara Fuji stumbled forward. They had a decent battle for arm dominance, but Tsurunomi just sensed that Takara Fuji was going forward. He was under deep pressure, and I, initially thought Tsurunomi's gone here. He's lost this match, but he got a little bit of a sidestep as Takara Fuji took himself out in a bit of a forward thrust. That gets Tsurunomi to 3 wins, Takara Fuji on 2. Wakataka Kage met up with a much larger Bushozan. Their last meeting was like 5 or 6 years ago, and Bushozan was just as big. Wakataka Kage was much younger, much smaller at that time. Look, Wakataka Kage got a decent hit from Bushozan and sent him back a little bit, but he ended up getting a good double grip and showed his strength. He drove the big man back. Not a lot of resistance there from Bushozan. Wakataka Kage, now remember, he's at the bottom of the Bunsuke there in Megashira, and he's got 3 wins so far. I would think he won't meet up any of the senior wrestlers until perhaps day 7, day 8, if he goes well, if he puts together a string of wins, maybe 7 or 8 wins, he'll be pushed up the thingo. But that's a pretty good start for someone down with his skills down in the lower ranks. Bushozan, he's on 2 wins. Kageyaki, he was patient and controlled, and Endo kept him away with some pretty good thrusting. He got control of Endo's arm and helped him over the bales for a Yorikiri win. 2 for Kageyaki, 1 for Endo. Nishikigi is another worry as Roga just controlled him out fairly easily. Look, Nishiki Fuji, I should say, his arm is fairly heavily strapped, and it's clear he favoured it at the tachiai. He didn't really push it forward, and I would think that he might be carrying a little injury there as well. So that's it for day 4 bouts. Our basho is starting to take shape. A terrible shame for Onosho and Asanayama, both picking up nasty injuries. And Osho, look, I would think he's at least gone for maybe the next tournament, but you never know. He might recover and come back. Asanayama, I would be surprised if we see him back until the new year. Slight concern for Hoshoryu at this point. And I didn't mention Tobizaru was holding his pectoral muscle after his win against Takakeisho. There's a little bit of concern there for a pectoral tear. Look, you can fight through that, and that will be painful, but he risks doing a longer term injury. So we'll wait and see tomorrow for those injuries and see who develops a Kyujo medical certificate. If that's the case, I think Asanayama will be out. I think we might find that Midori Fuji will get a free one tomorrow. Anyway, so that's it for day 4. Join me tomorrow evening on Sunday Morning Sumo on YouTube for some live action. I'll update you again soon. I probably won't be able to get an episode done after the episode. After the commentary tomorrow, I doubt my voice will hold up that much, and it does take a little bit to put these together, so be patient with me. I'll get one out as soon as I can. Hakio listeners, let's learn sumo.